Hey all, it's been a week. Today I want to make a video on how I automated my YouTube channel for table mesh. I thought it was pretty interesting and cool. I think if I had more time, I would try to make, more organic videos to grow my channel. But I still think like this was kind of really cool thing to learn how to do. And I do think I actually got some people installing through this method. It's probably not better than like, doing ads or doing more organic content. But I do think it's viable if you do figure out a good format for your branding. Um, so this is my table mesh channel here, and you can see that we have currently 52 videos, 21 subscribers, not a lot. I think with this funnel, I've only gained maybe like a few subscribers. But if I scroll down a little bit, you can see that this video right here was the last one that I made that was organic, and all the videos before that was my um, kind of trials. Like it was like a mix of my own content and also using some AI stuff. And then, so starting from here, let's see if we can see
Your friends in Japan, some sentences
dates.
only make.
1 second.
Your friend said.
Where's this? Let's say. Okay, so I started my first video on June 19th. So it's been about uh 9 days since I've started this funnel. And basically the first few were more just testing. Like for example, trying to figure out a format. You can see like there wasn't much views. And then my first big one was this 1.4K. So after the first like two videos, I started thinking like, how can I make a better hook? And also like maybe I should rotate with different stories instead of just like always, just try to sell my app. Instead, like try to tell a story or do something memey or basically something that's more trending, right? So, and I'll get into like how I actually made this in a bit. But I just want to show like some of the growth in terms of like this automation and the amount of views you could potentially get. So like it started off with like in the 20s and 30s, then I went to the hundreds, then I got my first 1.4K, and then I was like wondering like, hey, how come this one got me so much more views? Because it was actually telling a story that might actually engage people. And then another one ran and it only got 193. But you can see like there is some growth here. Like the view counts are starting to go up a bit. And then we hit a 658 one. Again, this one is kind of talking about a character, like a story. And it seems like these are the ones that does a bit better. And then if I keep scrolling up, we see that we hit another 677. Again, it's a story about someone moving to Austin. And then another big one, 1.6K. I'm still trying to figure out like what format gets the best. Like, is it the text that shows up in the thumbnail? Is it like the generated images that are capturing people, or is it actually the story and the hook? But again, I just wanted to experiment with more like this one right here is a bit more memey. I think it's like ranking your friends by like different types and stuff related to food. Um, and basically, as this keeps running, and this automation runs three times a day. So basically, I try to get these released like right before people start eating, because people are hungry and they might be, I don't know, potentially searching for food content. And then if I keep scrolling up again, like once in a while we hit these like 1 point or over like 1K videos. Uh, but it's very random. Like sometimes you go back to like the less than 100, sometimes it's in the hundreds. Um, And I think around maybe these two videos right here, I started figuring out how to add music. So I downloaded like three free to use background music stuff, and then still playing around with the script, but it seems like after these two, like it fell back down. Um, and I do know, like, I think with AI being so, you know, around, like, I think the algorithms also try to suppress things that it can detect as AI. So I am trying to like add more randomness to it and more uniqueness, instead of just like, hey, these ones worked, right? Like 1.2K, keep making them because I don't want to get flagged. But again, I'm not too sure. I'm just like still testing. But I think it's pretty cool that in the 9 days, it pumped out like, a bunch of videos, and some of them actually got decent views and even got me some downloads. And then if I go over to my long form content, you'll see that I also I had the idea that like maybe for long term, um, or long form, maybe I could make like review videos that are also automated because I have Google API already, and we can basically pull in images and also like searches. Like if you search on Google, like the top 5 Italian spots in Atlanta, right? uh, Google gives you that, and then you can also pull the images related to that. So combining that with like the pipeline I built over here for the shorts, I was like able to produce like this type of content. I think long form is a bit harder to crack in terms of views because it's a whole separate like algorithm. It's unrelated to your shorts, and this space of reviewing restaurants is very crowded. So I think that this one is probably gonna be hard to grow, but still giving it a try. You can see like this thumbnail right here has like starting to be different. So like as I produce these, I watch them and I just try to see like how I can make it better. So now let's go into like how I actually got this to work. So first was I used Claude Code, and that is because I have Claude. I think I paid 1 year for this, and I'm really like underutilizing Claude. And the reason is because like I started using Cursor for a lot of my coding, and I think it's much easier and better. Um, but I think Claude was like cheaper, and it's actually pretty good for making automations. So I was just brainstorming ideas I could do. So YouTube Shorts generation was something that I kind of just chatted with my AI agent and seeing like if it was doable, and then just kind of like estimating the cost. I think it said like it could probably be done with like less than $100 a month. So I was like, why not? I'm already paying like a lot of money per day for ads. So this is actually really cheap, related to that. So Claude proposed a few different tools that we could use. The ones I went with was basically how this works is Claude will generate a script for me for each video, and then it basically so Claude created the script, the code, and it puts it into GitHub. So if I go over to GitHub, even for like the free account, you can actually run jobs. So these fire off automatically every day, 3 times a day, without me having to pay any money. Um, so Claude does the coding behind that, and then uh, to create like the video format, I'm using Creatomate. So this Creatomate I think is really good for like generating a template that you can reuse, and think of it as like it has like scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, scene 4, scene 5, and then for each scene you already have these like overlay structures, right? Like text overlay or video background, your logo in these specific spots. That's what the template thing is. And then if I go back to these videos, a lot of them is actually like 5 scenes with different images rotating within them, but like the format is very similar. And the real difference is like the script and the story. And you can make a lot of different types of templates. I just have one. I think actually the Claude Code doesn't even you don't even have to make a template. It just like sends it's all within the code, like how the structure is. But this is the tool to actually like render the video, I guess. And then the other tool that I'm using is called ElevenLabs. This is where it does the voice uh, of the video. So you can choose like a lot of like real people voices, and then yeah, you just hear them out, and then whichever one you like, you can put that also in the code. And the price for these two, Creatomate is uh, right now I'm on the growth, which is 129. I upgraded this to test something, but I actually did not need this. So for next month, I'm actually gonna go back down to the 54 a month, and they also have the yearly option for a little bit cheaper. So and I'm only doing monthly because I might eventually just cancel it. But so this one is 54 a month, and then ElevenLabs is um, among creator, which is 22 a month. Again, I think when I first started, the $6 a month was enough. So that would be around like $60 a month. But I upgrade to the 22 a month because I started doing the long form content. Um, so I needed more credits for the voiceover. But for the long form, I actually don't use Creatomate. It's using something, another free service to render my videos. Um, Anyways, and then the final thing, or actually there's two more things. So for Claude to actually automatically write a script each day on top of the GitHub. So think of GitHub as like the place where it combines everything together and then runs that job. So GitHub will have like all your API credentials. So like Creatomate, ElevenLabs, all these API will live inside of GitHub. Um, but for Claude to automatically like generate different scripts and do analysis and all that, you do have to pay for the Claude's like API service. And I think this one's a little bit harder to gauge. It's not really like a by month thing. It's like how many tokens you spend per month, right? So I think right now, it's only been 10 or 9 days, but I'm also using this for other services. So it's hard to tell, but like I've spent like 23 bucks so far for a whole month. I think it'll probably be around like 50 maybe. So in total it might be like I mean it is like around like 100 to 130 depending on like what subscriptions you do, but that's still really cheap, right? Like 100 something is really cheap. Um, if it can actually grow your YouTube and get some users, I think that's worth it. And this pipeline actually also feeds into my Instagram. So it's actually like growing two accounts for me. And then finally, I also paid for Dance 2, um, which creates like really cool videos and images. And it also has the API. So, but this costs a bit more per generation. Um, so this is not like a must. This is just like a nice to have. So when I do have credits, um, it tries to like first see like if I have enough credit to create a hook. So Dance is kind of nice to create like really cool animations for a hook, in my opinion. But if I don't have enough credit, just use the stock images from Pexel. So actually, there's one more thing. So Pexel. So Pexels is like free stock photos, and a lot of these videos is just a combination of stock photos and videos, like shorts, clips. But essentially, yeah, once you set up your accounts for all these different tools, you just have to get the API and then just put it into your GitHub. Claude will basically instruct you on all that. But one thing I will say is that like you can't really just like write one prompt to Claude and it's gonna be perfect. It does take a lot of like refining. So again, if I go back to the journey here, if I scroll back down, like I didn't start getting a lot of views right off the bat, right? And even now it's not that much views. Although I do think like for just starting out in 1 week, getting some like over 1,000 views is pretty cool, pretty good. But what I'm trying to say is like Claude is not gonna really know like what the best way is. You have to like kind of feed it like a lot of information on like what you think is good, and it's a lot of trial and error. Um, like I think when it first started, it actually just had a black screen in the back with text overlay, and Claude was like, "Yeah, this is great." But no, you gotta keep like thinking yourself. Claude is great at like you know starting you off, but in terms of like Claude is not gonna know like what is actually gonna capture a audience. So you gotta like write prompt like, hey, do this research or look into this or like do this analysis. And just keep like talking to it until you figure out the right format. Um, but yeah, I think it's like it was really fun to do, and if you have like extra credits on Claude, because like I'm sure you're probably not using this every day. So creating automation is a good way to actually utilize all your tokens. Um, the other thing that I have, if I go back to my GitHub, all four of these are actually Claude automations. So I have my long form here and my shorts here, but I also have like deal sourcing. Deal sourcing is each day it actually scrapes the internet for like restaurant deals, and basically like I wrote some code or I instructed it to like basically start building out a restaurant list for my app table mesh, and then like each day it searches like different popular cities that maybe I don't have a lot of deals yet for, right? So it's like starting to automatically grow restaurant deals in my app. Um, and the reasons why like I can't just like say do this every hour or whatever is because like it costs a lot. Um, and I also don't have the time to just like personally, just Google each minute or whatnot. It's a bit, you know, tedious. But having like at least a automation that does that like every day, little by little, it's kind of growing that on its own. And then finally, I have a weekly blog. So on my website, there's also a blog section. And I'm hoping this like basically how this one works is it searches like recent news related to food, and it tries to spin up a article that is relevant to my app. So somehow like tie those elements together, and then just pumping out blogs that hopefully helps with like SEO and the Google algorithm. I really don't know if this like is working well or if it actually even catches any attention. But this cost me like nothing. Like the automation for this, like it's probably like pennies per day to create versus like the videos. So why not? um, yeah, I think that's all I wanted to cover for this. If you have any questions or want to like dive deeper into like how it's actually done, um, actually I have one more thing. It's called Gumroad. Basically, I created a PDF that tells exactly how you do this on Gumroad. Let me see if I can find the products. Whatever. I don't think it's necessary. I think you can probably figure it out with your own AI agent. But yeah, this wasn't more of a how-to. It's more of like, hey, this is possible and this is how I did it. If you like this, please subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll try to cover more of what I learned while I create this awesome app called Table Mesh. All right, peace out.